MMA fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA today. We got a frequent guest of the show. He is the Spartan. He is Mr. Alex Nicholson, and he is going to do some more XFC action. He is set to headline XFC 51 Evolution against Zac Pauga, September 27th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Alex, you came off of a successful main event performance last time out over Carl Suman. Now you get a former UFC guy in Zac Pauga. What was that like when you were told about Zac and you were told about another main event opportunity? Was it a no-brainer to say yes to it right away?
Yeah, let's get it. Let's go. Another guy that thinks he can stand the test of the Spartan. Let's put his name to the test. See what he's got in his chest.
You know, you're coming off of a big win against Carl Suman. I mean, it was an amazing performance. Got into a little bit of adversity early. He was able to take you down. I mean, you got up basically right away. And then once you were able to find some separation there, you just threw everything at him. Elbows, punches, knees, kicks. I'm kind of surprised it took you as long as you did to finish him. Are you feeling that momentum off of that win? Is that something that's staying with you?
Always, my whole career, it's let's go. We go for it. We tuck our chin, we throw. That's what the people want to see. I'm an entertainer. I'm going to give it to them. Highly skilled, highly experienced. I've been in there and done that. And Carl was a very tough pinata to crack, but I got to the candy, and it's what I'm going to do, man. I put on a show every time I step in a cage or ring. Wherever it's going down. And Zac is not ready for this, man.
You know, going into that last fight, you were telling some people if you lose, you were going to take a break or quit mixed martial arts. Was that true? Were you actually considering that?
100%. 100%. I was like, if I cannot beat Carl, I'm one of the best in the world. He's a very tough, experienced guy. But I'm one of the best in the world. And if I can't take him out, I shouldn't do this. I got to do other things to provide. But we don't have to worry about that shit. I stood the test. I got the job done. And it was very difficult. You're right. He was tough to take out, but he eventually went down. And I'm here. Let's go.
You know, you're choosing to fight on XFC again, promotion that's had a rebirth, newer ownership, put on some big shows, a lot of former UFC guys, some Bellator, some PFL, some good up-and-coming talent. How have you been liking fighting with them?
It's a good organization. They take care of us and a good stage to perform, showcase my abilities, things that I love, and they got my back. I got their back. I'm right there making this organization. It's exciting to see. That's what I do. Did it with Game Bread. Everywhere I go, I put on a show, and they have a great group of people putting on good shows. So let's go. Let's see where it goes.
You make a good point. When it comes to PFL, when it comes to Game Bread, and when it comes to XFC here, you can feel your mark. You put up some great performances for every single one of these promotions. Going in there, putting on exciting performances, getting knockouts, is this something that you really think about and try to carry into all your performances?
Yeah, I go in there and I try to finish. If I don't execute my game plan, then I don't believe that I did my job. I'm a performer, I'm an entertainer, and I practice. It's my job to go to training. Every day I'm in and out of the gym. I'm a student of the game. I know basics win championships, and I drill them every day with some of the best people in the world. So I'm very confident going in there, and I've done it before, and I'm going to do it again.
Throughout your career, you have unleashed some vicious knockouts. You've knocked some dudes out clean cold. Do you have a top 3 favorite knockouts from your arsenal of finishes?
Are we asking specific knockouts or techniques that I've done?
It could be anything that resulted in a finish.
My jump knee against Jay Kuhn has got to be the most famous knockout from other people. But I knew I was going to do that going into the second round, I literally said it to my father. He's dipping his head. I'm gonna fake the overhand right and split his noggin open with the knee, and it landed beautifully. Uh, I think one that a lot of people don't know about was Rico Rodriguez. Finished him. He was he was a heavyweight champion of the world. Took that on like a day's notice. I was drinking a margarita on the beach and got a call to show up in Fort Lauderdale, and I did, and I beat him. So that one meant a lot to me. Chris Barnett outweighed me by 80 pounds. Closed the distance with a big elbow. That's got to be number two. Um, and actually, one of my favorite fights is a fight that I lost, which is weird. But going into that, I cracked Ryan Spann, short distance, hard elbow, ended up ground and pound. Most refs would have called the fight, but obviously they shouldn't have. He got up, hits me in the right hand, hits me in another right hand. I'm literally just exhausted. I'm not even like hurt to being knocked out, but he gets on top, ground and pound. Just such an exciting fight. But I felt tested, like really tested that fight. So that was one of my more fun fights. But then knockouts, probably Dylan Kleckler, spinning elbow. He threw an overhand right, broke my nose in half, sideways. I instantly threw a spinning elbow, catches him on the jaw, he's out cold. And I think I was 6-1 at the time. And he was undefeated monster, supposed to kill me. Hometown hero, Roy Jones was the main event. I was the co-main event. And I got to get the job done there in Pensacola, Florida. In front of my family and friends. Took out a monster. That was in the prime of his career. So that one meant a lot to me. But that's got to be it.
Speaking of
Three and a half right there. Even a loss. Three.
There you go, 3.5. I think one that's an honorable mention that you didn't mention, the spinning back fist knockout, Chase Sherman. I mean, I think that one's very underrated. I don't know how many people know that on your career, but walk me through that. What were you seeing? Was that, do you kind of just pull that one out of the hat?
Well, no. I saw that when he stepped, his left hand was going down. So I fake a left hook. He charges forward. I step through with the back fist that cracks him. He's wobbly. I can't believe he's still on his feet. I grab him, I elbow him, and then I start punching him, and it's over. And we're 1-1, you know. We are 1-1. So we gotta do that again sometime. Me and Chase Sherman, 1-1, man. That's an exciting one for sure. He outweighed me then, I think 40 pounds. Even Carl, who I just fought, outweighed me by 50. So I've done that most of my career with the bigger dudes, heavyweight. But Chase, tough too. But when we became friends after that, trained together and everything, we had to make money, had to go for it. And again, our last fight, I was beating his ass, and he just 2-3, bang, bang. I was out cold. But that's the game that we play. Can't get mad. Got to just get better and keep going.
Recently in your mixed martial arts career, you've been a smaller heavyweight. Obviously, when it comes to that, there's pros and there's cons to it. Some of the pros could be the speed, the durability, the endurance that you might have against some other opponents. Why do you choose? Why do you enjoy being a smaller heavyweight?
Just the heavyweight champion of the world is the biggest, baddest man on the planet Earth, and he's known as it, respected as it, and that's just what I want, man. I think right now I could compete with the best people in the world. I mean, Zach was in Curtis Blades' corner Curtis Blades' corner when he fought Tom. So there you go. My guy on Finance training with Curtis Blades every day in and out. Some of the best in the world is, heavyweight title of the world. I'm going to go out there and make something that's very difficult look very easy. And that's what a world-class fighter does. You go out there and you make something that's very difficult look easy. And then everybody can talk about it and act like, I could fight that guy. But it's just, going to a local MMA gym and try to grapple with a blue belt. See what happens to you, and you'll understand this is a lot more difficult than you think. But heavyweight champion of the world, man. Got to make my mama, my son, and Lord Jesus proud. I'm going for it, and I won't be stopped.
Talking about some of the baddest men in the world here, I think it's within the last year, a very famous UFC fighter came to Fusion Excel, and Mr. Alex Pereira. I know you got to do a little bit of work with him. I'm not sure if you sparred or anything, but what was that experience like interacting with that guy?
It's cool. He's a nice dude. We did a good Muay Thai round. When we threw, we respected each other. And I mean, I'm right there. I could bang with the best in the world, dude. And I've proven it. And his climb is just motivation to see, especially, he's older at his age. It just goes to show with the right opportunity and the right talent, anybody's capable of anything. And so it's real motivational to see his climb. And I got nothing but respect for that dude.
10 years ago when you were first really getting into this, could be even a little more. Obviously, the goal of the time was the UFC. It was getting through all the sacrifices of smaller shows, finding your way up the cards, battling it out on island fights and other positions to finally get to that point. Had a good run in the UFC, faced some very well quality guys since then. I mean, you've been on the PFL, you've been BKFC, you've been bare knuckle MMA, XFC. I mean, you've kind of been everywhere. Now at 34 years old, is there a sense to try to get back to their bigger promotions? What's the goal and the focus at now in life?
The goal right now is to take care of my family, the people who depend on me. It's not as ego driven. The UFC would be cool. Obviously, UFC champion of the world's the most prestige and well known, but I know that some of the most talented people in the world aren't in the UFC as well. So if I had that opportunity, I would take it, but that's not my main goal. My main goal is to retire my mother, take care of my father, my son, my family, my sister, her children, her husband, and just secure everything they need. But as far as Alex Nicholson and what he wants, UFC title would be great, and I'm here. Mick Maynard knows me, Sean Shelby knows me, Dana White knows me, and they know I'll show up and put on a show. So if they called me, I'd be there. I'd rise to the occasion. It's been, you've heard me say it before, it's my lifestyle. It's not fight camp. It's just the way I live, and I think I could do this until I'm 45 years old. Another 11 years, man. I stay healthy, God willing. I'm here. So the plan is to secure the money and take care of the family and keep training, keep getting better, and keep growing. So they call me. I'm here with a fucking cat, bro. Just got dive bombed. It's crazy. He's got to stay ready. See, always ready.
We have talked about it in the past. You've been vocal. You have told me that the Alex Nicholson that was in the UFC, the Alex Nicholson back in the day, is a total, complete different Alex Nicholson, the Alex Nicholson in 2024. From being around you, from knowing you a little bit, I think one thing that I could put out is the mindset might be a little different. I mean, you're a very positive person. Mental health is something that is very important to you. How have you grown your mindset? What has changed to make you, evolve as a person?
Life, bro. I mean, shit. I've been through a dashboard, through windshields. I went through all this crazy shit in life, and I was like, why does all this stuff keep happening? And then I finally came to a realization that I was kind of young and crazy and doing dumb shit. And, you know, we never want to look in the mirror, but until we won't grow. So now I've been around the world, as crazy as it sounds, it's true. And I could beat up that little dork easy. That little UFC Alex Nicholson. About the same weight, definitely skilled, but I got knowledge and power and age and treachery, like they say. And I'm not that old, but I'm not that young either, man. And I've been around the block and I know how to use what I've learned. But having a son, realizing life's not about me, helped me make it better for everybody around me. And once I started doing that, I found joy. Now I have joy, I have happiness in my heart, and I try to spread it the best I can. Mental health is very important for us all. If we can't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of others, and that makes the world suffer. So let's just keep doing the best we can and realize that God chooses you because you're still here every day. And that's just a little piece of me that brings me joy. And I hope to spread it with others who need it when I can.
Obviously, anyone who knows you, anyone who sees you on Instagram knows you have a special relationship with your son Odin. I mean, you take him everywhere. You guys are extremely close. We've recapped a lot of funny stories from you on this platform, but I think there's one that actually I don't even think I brought up to you. So I've heard a story when Odin was a lot smaller, maybe a toddler, over at Fusion XL. He was sitting in a crib near the mats, and some dudes from a different gym were in town and almost maybe hit the crib and almost knocked into him. Any of this ring a bell?
Yeah, bro. I freaking ran across the gym and speared these dudes that were about to fall into his carriage, and yeah, well, it didn't end well, but it's part of the game, man. You know, you gotta pay attention. Gotta pay attention in life, especially to the women and children, right? Gotta keep them safe, man. But yeah, I pinned them dudes up against the wall, and real quick, both of them, they stopped sparring, and then they watched out for the remainder of the time they were there.
Obviously you have a really close relationship with him, but one thing that we haven't seen for your fights in particularly is him watching them live. Is this something that you maybe want to hold off on? Have you thought about it maybe in the future, letting him watch you fight in person?
He watched Prince McLean live, and there's a video of it, and that one worked out. It was nice and smooth. And I always watched some of his mother's fights live, but it's more about bringing them there. I just don't like the crowd. I don't like the atmosphere. I don't like that people like to do stupid things for attention on social media and the internet. I think it could be very dangerous. Um, it's not an atmosphere for a child. But one day, for sure, when he's able to defend himself and be a little bit more aware, I'll definitely bring him in.
There's no question. I'm sure you can attest to this. The world of mixed martial arts has changed so much from when you first started. It's a lot more culturally accepted. There's so many more people that watch that. And with the good, maybe comes the bad and the negative. Your buddy Mike Perry has been through this. Nate Diaz has been through this. Now you're getting influencer type people. They're going to press conferences. They're asking these crazy questions. What are you going to do when this guy beats you? I can beat you. It's getting a little ridiculous. Where what mixed martial arts is, the art, the honor, the respect of it, it's kind of falling on the wayside to more of a show and entertainment and, kind of a free for all. How has this affected the sport?
I think it's affecting the world. Um, the internet and the things that kids are exposed to is disgusting to me personally. And if we're not raising the kids right, how do we expect the world to end up being a good place for them to live? It's like the old saying, don't write a check that your ass can't cash. If you keep messing with these people, you're going to come across the wrong one, and it's going to end in a bad, violent manner. Um, it's got to stop eventually, but it starts with us as the adults, bro. Got to be a good influence and teach them right. And we see what it's been doing. Everybody does. Everybody's anxious and scared and craziness. Like if we spread peace, joy, and happiness, we'll be peaceful, we'll be joyful, we'll be happy. So we're all gonna have to link up and get together on that as a unit together in the world. Because if you want chaos, you want the smoke, so to speak, you'll find it. And that's why I do what I do. Because we sign up for it, we get in, we get out, we get paid. But I don't know, man. I'll fight a YouTuber. Let's fucking go. I'm waiting for one to fucking fuck with me. God bless you. Ready to go.
All right, let's shift back over here to XFC 51. So you're taking on Zac Pauga, a guy who was sort of recently in the UFC, not far from removed from his run in that organization. Overall, what do you think of Zac as an opponent?
I think he is going to be trying to grapple me. And I'm going to frame away and snipe him out. I don't think he has experience to deal with me. But that's what the people want to see, right? They want to hear him say he's going to beat me. They want to hear me to say I'm going to beat him. But it's going to happen soon enough, bro. And I don't think he's got what it takes to take me down. He definitely doesn't have what it takes to take me out. So we'll see what he has to say, and then we'll see what happens.
You know, with a win over a guy like Zac Pauga, what do you think that does for you in your career at the moment? You know, facing a guy who's former just recently in the UFC, does that give you maybe some bigger competition? Does that get you closer to going back to the UFC if you wish?
No, I think me beating him, everyone expects. So he's getting an opportunity. He's getting a chance. I'm showing up to feed my son. I'm not excited about giving a guy an opportunity who doesn't really deserve it. I have more knockouts than he has fights. I got 2 world titles. And, he seems like a nice guy, but that's going to be what fuels my fire and helps me burn his ass up. You don't deserve to be in there with me, and I'm going to show you that. Um, it's a treat for the XFC. I mean, Carl had 12 knockouts. That made sense. Uh, you know, not taking anything away from the things he's accomplished, but he's 38 years old. He has one knockout. He has one submission. Okay. I got fucking 22 knockouts. I got one submission too, and it was a world title belt. Um, but I'm doing what I love and blessed to have an opponent. He's a big, strong, tough guy who thinks he's going to beat me up, and it'll be exciting to watch me knock him out.
You know, the last time you were in XFC, the day out that you took on Carl Schumann-Utapa, you know, some guys, the day out, they kind of want to be left alone. They don't want to be around people. They want to stay in the room until it's time to go. They want to go somewhere else, you know. But here you are and some other fighters in the ring, in the cage, with a bunch of kids that had either disabilities or battling through stuff. You know, you were doing a sparring session, a little practice session, teaching them a little MMA tips. Do you feel like that experience, did that maybe calm or ease you going into that fight?
It was a blessing to be around those children and to see what they have to deal with every day and to teach them something new to build their confidence. And it was last minute thing, but it was cool. Big E was there, the WWE uh, superstar, and I got to meet a couple interesting people, and we had a good time. It was definitely a calm before the storm, but even right now, if I had to get up and wrap my hands, get out of my living room, I, I've trained myself to be able to do that. I went to Serbia alone, been to Moscow, Russia. It's the day of a fight. I always joke around and say it when I leave practice. Like, what if something happens at the Wawa? You got to be ready to go. Gas station ready. Uh, but it was a joy to be around them children and their families and then go do what I love. So good for the soul, for sure.
You just mentioned your fights over in Russia and Serbia for a period. That's where you had to go. You had to go out of the country to get competition. And I think one entrance of yours, I don't think we've ever even talked about this, that I think is super underrated. I believe it was when you were in Russia, when you came out to fight, there were like 15 guys dressed up as Spartans with the whole uniform and attire. Is that something you knew about, or did you literally walk up to the stage and see a bunch of Spartans?
No, man, they just in the back they gave me a robe, and then the bitches came out, and then the music and the fucking fireworks and strobe lights. It was insane, but it was fun. It's definitely fun. It was Russia was cool, man. They took care of us, and we had fun.
Now back to being able to compete, obviously in the United States, you're 34 years old. It doesn't look like you have any times of slowing down. You have said earlier in this interview that you would even fight until you're 45. Um, at it now, you mentioned money, you mentioned providing for your family is such a strong thing on your head. It's something that you really want to do and something that really motivates you. But what are the goals, right? Besides that, like, is it maybe some more bare knuckle stuff? Is it just trying to make your impact at any organization possible?
I mean, I love to fight. It's what I do. I would do this if I had to work another job anyway. Just brings me peace, brings me joy. But the bare knuckle boxing's right there. I could easily take those guys out. And that's not being egotistical. Tony Lopez, I think, is an undefeated bare knuckle fighter, or maybe he fought Belcher for the belt. I don't know if it was him or Joey Belcher. I don't remember, but very tough dude. Tons of bare knuckle experience. I went in there, hit him with a left hook, and rocked his world. So I've already proven that. He was the bare knuckle champion. And Dylan Kleckler's done well in that too. So I would go bare knuckle boxing, probably light heavyweight. Just because I think just the hands, body weight matters more. So I would go in there on light heavyweight. I don't think any of those guys could do anything but break their hands on my head, even if I just didn't throw a punch and walk forward. This thing been through it, bro. And it moves well, too. So, ready to go. David Feldman, what's up, man? The karate combat sounds fun. I got aspirations. Me and Sam Alvey for the heavyweight karate combat title has been talked about. It would be fun. Uh, the world is our oyster, bro. You can do the interviews. I'll keep knocking these guys out. Let's go. Let's find the fucking pearl.
Your next fight is over in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I know throughout your career, you've been able to travel to different places, obviously overseas. You have been places like California, Las Vegas. We're in Detroit the last time. Milwaukee, you ever been there? Ever had any idea you would be going there?
The only thing I know that's from Milwaukee is Ray Allen and the Green Bay Packers. So I'm interested to explore and check out Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I had a friend from there, and I know he said they're big on alcohol. That's all I know about Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's also known for the cheese state. They're
Oh,
called
the
the cheese.
cheeseheads. Yeah.
Any chance if we can get you one of those cheese like hats, the heads that you could maybe walk out to the ring wearing that?
Probably not. But, money, the cheese, go for the money. I'm not really, not really a cheese guy. But I'm all for, cheeseheads. Let's go. Wisconsin. I support it. And I'm not going to hate on it, but I'm not going to walk out wearing a thing of cheese on my head.
Your dad, Mark, he travels with you to all these fights. I mean,
He could throw the cheese, give him the cheese head. He'll wear it.
absolutely. I'll bring one for Mr. Nicholson. But your dad, Mark, he's been such a big part of your career. He travels with you to all these single fights. He says that he can whip all these opponents, regardless if you can or not. But what's it like to be able to travel the world with your dad, Mark, with Craig Duncan, and the rest of the guys, man, who support you and been with you from the beginning?
It's a blessing, man. Everything comes full circle. If you don't give it back to the people who gave it to you, then what are you doing? You know, family is everything, and the money's less important. These memories are everything, and I'm just ready to keep making them, keep being successful, taking care of my family, my son, and but having my dad there is priceless, man. I'll never forget these memories, and you know, it's eternal, baby. It's eternal glory.
All right, Alex, last question for you, man. In a perfect world, what goes down September 27th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin when you take on Zac Pauga?
He's gonna just go, and I'll be on Sports Center. Straight right hand, jump spinning crescent kick to his jawline. And nobody really knows what just happened. But I'll show you. And then we'll take it back to this clip. You're going to be like, holy shit, he did it.
Well, Alex, we will see if you can live up to your prediction, but I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to watch you fight. And
I usually do. We usually do.
Well, Alex, it was a pleasure talking with you, man. I wish you nothing but the best. And thank you for hopping on the show again.
Thanks for your time always, brother.
That's Alex the Spartan Nicholson. I'm Carlo Prusa. Stick around.